Well, hi there. Hi everyone and welcome to the 48th episode of the Lovebird vidcast. I am here. It's another week and I'm not really feeling it today, I must say, and it's not that I'm not feeling the vidcast. I am just physically not feeling it today. I ended up getting my monthlies without any warning, so just randomly showed up. So I'm feeling a bit flat today. Unfortunately, I had to break my fast. I was going to be fasting until dinner, but I ended up feeling a little bit faint and a little bit sick. So I thought, okay, I have to eat something. So it's already started out as being a little bit of a failure today. I have dyed some yarn already this morning. If you are one of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. If you are, it is so appreciated. You have no idea. I have recorded a video this morning while I was dyeing that yarn, so you get to see some of my dyeing process in that video. It is not up yet, obviously. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can see that over there. There's not really too much to show today. Again, I'm being disciplined and I haven't been working on too much. I've been mostly working on my Winter's Beach cardigan, which I showed you the beginnings of last week, and I am also working on my socks. I'm probably going to be focusing on my socks in the coming week because this morning I signed up to the Handmade Sock Society, which is a Helen Stewart Curious Handmade annual tradition. I think this is the 4th year that she's done it. Yeah, it's number 4 anyway, so however often Helen does it, and I have decided to join up this year, which is bizarre to me because I am generally a vanilla sock person. I don't tend to like patterned socks too much. However, this one just kind of for some reason stuck in my head and I decided that I'm going to knit along. So that was the yarn that I dyed this morning, is for my first pair of socks. It is green yarn, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so I've got 2 pairs of socks on the needles currently. I know you've seen definitely one of them. I'm unsure of the second, and then I have my cardigan to talk about, and then that will probably be it. So hopefully next week when I talk to you again, I'll have 2 finished pairs of socks, and probably won't have cast on the other because I film on Thursdays. So so here we are. I feel like the camera is over here somehow, but I think I look okay. I think I'm pretty well in the frame. So let's get on to my first work in progress. So I'll start with the oldest one. This is a pair of socks that I cast on quite a while ago, and it is from my Minty colorway. So that is this very vibrant green with splashes of blue and splashes of yellow through it. And I am onto the foot. I actually took this with me. I had to go to the doctor's yesterday, so I took this with me to knit in the waiting room. So this is what I spoke about when I said I was doing a bit of a tonal sock kick. So I had my Just Peachy pair, that bright orange pair, and I've got this mint green pair. So I want to get this finished. So I've only done the first sock. This is the first sock and I'm probably halfway through the foot-ish. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to get this pair finished. Usually I can finish a full-size sock within 2 or 3 days, so that should be pretty easy to get in. And this is just my basic vanilla sock. It's got my 2x2 cuff, fish lips kiss heel, and then it's just going to have a basic wedge toe. So this is the first sock that I'm going to be working on, and that's about all there is really to say about it, because again, it's a vanilla sock, because that's usually all that I knit. But yes, I'm hoping to have that pair finished for next week. And my other pair of socks in my lovely yarn bowl. I spoke about this last week, that I got this from my in-laws. So my mother-in-law and Simon's stepdad, her husband, got this for me from Bendigo. So I can't actually, there is a maker's mark on it, but it's half off the bottom of the yarn bowl. So if you know whose maker's mark that is, please let me know, because I don't know who to see. Bendigo, it says Bendigo something, maybe pottery, Bendigo pottery, I'm not sure. But yes, they gave me this yarn bowl. So this is where I am now housing my leftover yarn from my cardigan and my house party socks, which is a pattern by my friend Jess of the Sweater Collective, and I am on my second sock. So I've actually lost my first sock. So if you remember last week, I tossed it to the side because I found it in the basket that I was keeping my cardigan yarn in, and now I don't know where it went. So yeah, I've lost the first sock, but it's around here somewhere. I'm sure it'll show up. Yeah, for now it's lost. So I'm still working on the leg of this one. I have put probably a repeat and a half on this. I have finished 7 out of the 8, because if you recall I said that I did 8 repeats of this leg pattern on the first one, which is I think one more than the pattern. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm on the 8th repeat now. So from there I'll get onto the heel and then down onto the foot. And if you remember, I am actually doing the heel from the pattern on these socks, which is rare for me. Maybe I was getting ready for my sock society, so I'll actually follow the pattern for the heels in the sock society. Who knows, maybe I'm psychic and I just knew. Highly unlikely. But yeah, there's an eyed partridge heel on these, so that is what I'll be getting down to. And if you remember, it's got this like moss stitch type effect on the back. It's got these crisscross cables, and then on the front is like a starburst design. So yeah, these are the House Party socks by Jess Gore, and the yarn is Wool & Vine Yarns. It is her footsie base in the colourway Tea Leaves. So yeah, I'm still having the same issues with the yarn that I spoke about before, with it splitting, and it's very, very fluffy. I don't think it's really something you can possibly see on the video, maybe with the dark background. It is quite fluffy, and yeah, I'm finding I'm getting my needles stuck in the fluff, like going through the fluff instead of going through the loop of the needle. Getting stitches getting stuck because I've gone through the fluff and just have to kind of rip the fluff as I go. So yeah, I can't say I really love, like, I love the colour and I love Kristen's art, but yeah, this base, I don't know that I would buy this base again, which is kind of unfortunate because I've actually got a whole set back here it was a palette set that she did for her exploration station shawl back in the day, and this is all footsie. However, I am thinking of using this to knit some sort of like a sew faded sweater or something, so that they're all used together, and that will be on it. Oh god, that's filthy. That's how long it's been in my stash, guys. So I'm thinking that I'll probably knit a sew faded with that, which is going to be on bigger needles, so I'm not going to get as stuck in the fluff and things like that as I am on these little needles, because these are 2.25 I believe I'm using. Yeah, 2.25, and they are higher sharps, so you can probably see that there. But yeah, so I'm battling on. They're going to be finished. I'll probably finish these before I finish the Minty Socks, because these obviously I'm on the second sock. But yeah, hopefully these 2 pairs of socks will be finished by next week, which means I need to put down my Winter's Beach cardigan, which is what I have been working on, so I'll show you that now. So it's still in my little handy dandy basket from Adrinka Designs, and I have done quite a bit, as you can see. So past the cast on that I showed you last week, I make sure I'm not tangled here, have got the bottom of a cardigan. So I've gotten past the pockets. The pockets are done really, really interestingly. I'll talk about all these later. The pockets are done as an afterthought method. So basically what I have done there is those 2 bits of yarn on the front there that I've tied together, those are lifelines that go through the bottom row of stitches and the top row of stitches on the afterthought. And then I've got on the back this one tied here, it's just so I can ID them. She did say to use different coloured yarns, but I have this leftover ball of white that I use as my holding yarns. So yeah, that's how I can differentiate them, is because 2 are at the front, the 2 lifelines are at the front, and the actual, you can see just in here that there is a row knit with the white yarn, and that is what is tied together on the back. So this is my new colourway and it's knitting up really, really nicely. I'm really, really happy with it, and it's coming across on my viewfinder as the red pops like it actually does in real life. It's very much, I mean, it's brown, but it does skew very much, like I said last week, to the red. So I'm really happy also with the way that this base itself is actually knitting up the cables. The cables, although I can't really tell on the screen, they look a little bit blown out, but the cables are actually really popping on this yarn. They're really standing out from the background. And I had a quick look at one of the ends on this yarn base, and it appears that it is a 3-ply, so that is why it is popping out so nicely, because 3-ply is really good for cables, because it's a nice round shape which helps the cables to pop. So there you go, that's something you may not have known. So it's got this double moss stitch on the other sections, and then it's got cable sections as it goes round, so they just kind of alternate. And then there's like a slip stitch, focusing a slip stitch edge on there. So I said last week, and it was actually the title of where the title of the episode came from, that I was going to attempt to alternate skeins on this one, and I ran out of having fun with that very quickly. I think I alternated maybe 3 or 4 rows. So that is why there is a bunch of ends here, because we've got one that came from the cast on, one from adding in the second ball, and then one from stopping the second ball. So yeah, I gave up, and I think it's working fine. I think in the viewfinder, possibly with you on camera, you can see that there is differences. Like in here, there's not as many speckles as there is all the way down here, but this current ball is bringing in a lot more speckles, like you can see in here. So I think overall it's fine. Like looking at it in real life, you can't see, like it's not stripes of difference between the skeins. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's knitting up, I must say. I love this cable here. It's got quite a few of the little pink splotches on it, which is really cute, because I think this ball here actually has got quite a few little pink pops on it. So I might end up with a few more pink pops coming through on this current swath of yarn. But I'm already on my 3rd ball, and I dyed 6, so I may need to dye more. I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, it's mostly a semi-solid sort of tonal colour, so I should be able to match it pretty well. But yeah, so I think for my size, I worked out that I would need 6.8 skeins. And when I've been knitting sweaters lately, I've always ended up with a bonus skein left at the end. So I just went for the 6 whole skeins. But the fact that I'm already on my 3rd, I might need to dye more. I'm not sure. Oh, there's a spider. Where have you come from? Interesting. It's just a little huntsman. Yeah, so that's probably all I can really say about this. I must say, cables aren't my favourite thing, but I love this project, so I can deal with the cables because I'm going to really enjoy this finished project. So I'm very much a project knitter, so yeah, I'm doing them. The rows that have cables on every, because each section obviously has 2 side cables plus these 2 middle cables. So the rows where I've got a cable all 4 per section is a bit of a slog, I must say. I have swapped. I started off doing cabling without a cable needle, but I have gone back to the cable needle because I remember I'm using Knit Picks Majestic, I think is the colorway for these needles, and I knit my what was it called, Rose Cardigan, another one by Andrea Mowry, and in the cables in that one I was using just these needles, and I ended up grinding down a lot the surface of the needles because these are laminated wood. So yeah, they ended up getting quite ground down, so I didn't want to damage my needles like I did with the other cardigans. So I decided I would go to the cable needle to do my cables. And I think that's about it. I think that's all there is really to say about that. And that's kind of all there really is to talk about. I'm sorry, it's going to be a bit of a boring short episode. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else to say, and there's really not much to say. But yeah, again, thank you to my patrons. I've had 2 new ones since last week. So I've got Katie and Heidi have now joined me. So I'm thrilled to have you, and I appreciate your contribution so much. And yeah, if you're interested in joining, the link will be down in the description, and it really is going to help me out a lot with being able to upgrade my equipment, doing more tutorials, freeing up my time for things like that. I'm thinking of having a change to my shop updates as well, so that is something to keep an eye out for on my Instagram. I'm not going to talk about it here because obviously here is about the craft content, but yeah, I am going to be possibly going to 1 monthly updates, because I'm finding that already, even though it's only 3 weeks in, I'm already getting a little bit burned out with trying to keep up with the weekly updates. So I'm not stopping dyeing, I'm just going to keep dyeing, but all the setup of listings and photos and things like that I'll only need to do once a month instead of doing it every week, which will free up some time as well. But yeah, that is probably where we're at the moment. I'm getting very hot. It's not even that hot today, but I'm getting so hot. It's probably because I was over steaming pots of yarn before, but I think I will leave it there. I did do a little bit of weaving, but that is nothing that I can really show you that you're going to notice any difference with it anyway. So hopefully that'll get finished by next week as well, because I do want to free up that loom. So hopefully I'll have 3 things to show you next week, but we will see. I guess until next time, happy knitting, happy crafting, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!